are live. So, welcome to episode 297
Yes.
of American Werewolf. I am,
One more to go, baby.
that's it, the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, I've got John K. Alvarez, and he says an anthill isn't worth it. And I think he's right. John, before we went on, we were just saying that for some reason, since we've started this format with the show covering a director a month, the finest films, and certainly maybe the lesser known films of these fine directors, always seem to get passed by other members on the panel. But you and I are always here to cover them. We discussed me and Orson Welles and Last Flag Flying.
Yeah.
And now this, I'm talking about Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory. So if you're ready, shall we get it going?
Let's take the walk on the path.
Boogie woogie. So, in the words of Kirk Douglas, I believe he said, there are times when I am ashamed to be a member of the human race. And this movie certainly fucking brought that out in me.
Right.
Now, Paths of Glory is a 1957 American, this is from Wikipedia, anti-war film directed by Stanley Kubrick. From a screenplay he co-wrote with Calder, Willingham, and Jim Thompson. It is adapted from the 1935 novel of the same name by Humphrey Cobb, which in turn was based on the Souain corporals affair during World War I, where French soldiers were executed for alleged cowardice. The film stars Kirk Douglas as Colonel Dax, the commanding officer of French soldiers who refused to continue a suicidal attack, after which Dax defends them against charges of cowardice in a court-martial. It also features Ralph Meeker, Adolphe Menjou, George Macready, Timothy Carey, Joe Turkel, Wayne Morris, and Richard Anderson. It's always interesting to watch British and American actors play Frenchmen.
Right.
Which they weren't even trying, like with the accents or any of that shit. I should say before we get started, this movie is available, I think, on Pluto TV. It's available on Tubi. There is a free copy on YouTube TV, which is how I watched it. It is less than 90 minutes. Let's get started. I do not own a copy of this, but after this, I just watched it before we went on.
Right.
And immediately went to Amazon and found a $3 DVD of this. John, what did you think? Initial thoughts?
I used to think I was a Stanley Kubrick aficionado because I had seen a lot of his movies had opinions both ways on the way he did a film. But this is the first time I had ever seen it, and I could literally kick myself for waiting this long. I mean, when you picked it, I actually had to look it up. And I went, why didn't I ever hear about this movie or look for this movie? It is such a brilliant film. The way I've always loved the mixture where you have an anti-war film wrapped in the, cloth of war, so to speak. And Kirk Douglas's portrayal in this is so human, caring, even in his military fashion. It's amazing. It's such an amazing film. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to be a film student or a student of cinema. It's so overlooked because I mentioned it to people who are also actors or directors or what have you, and some of them go, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted to catch that." I'm like, "Catch it, go get it now."
Yeah, it is one of the perks of doing things this way, picking one director a month and then selecting 3 to 4 films per month, is that I can select films I haven't seen yet.
Right.
So last week we covered, we did 2001: A Space Odyssey. And then
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, and that was a blast last week. We just totally went at it because of the Epstein files.
Right.
But I had never seen this before, and I had some vague idea of what it was about. It's fantastic. It's awful to watch. There's horrific injustice just be perpetrated by these elitists who just don't see any value in the lives of the man on the ground. They're just to be used for their own purposes and their own designs.
Exactly.
So the officer class can get the praise from the press and the media, from the politicians, so they can get promotions. And in the off chance that the man on the ground falls short, which is what happens here through absolutely no fault of his own, then he is held and charged with cowardice, court-martialed, and then executed in 1957. So we're talking 70 years now. Sorry, we're going to be getting into spoilers with this. Hold on a second. I've got comments here. We got Slasher Fred. What's happening, man? And he said, Paths of Glory is a movie that shows the horrors of war because these soldiers who try to defend themselves are seen as cowards just because they refuse to fight. It says it's a movie that shows... Okay, yeah, you got that twice. Did you ever watch Tales from the Crypt? They did an episode similar to this movie called Yellow, directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it also had Kirk Douglas. No, I did not see that.
It also had Kirk Douglas's other son, who was the soldier who was showing cowardice in it.
Was it Michael Douglas?
No, it was his other son. He had another son that was an actor.
Okay. It says casting brought its own drama. Gregory Peck was the first choice for Colonel Dax, but turned it down due to a conflicting play schedule. While others like Jack Palance, Richard Burton, Charlton Heston, who opted for Touch of Evil, and James Mason were considered. Kirk Douglas, upon reading the script, was hooked despite predicting box office failure, telling Kubrick, quote, Stanley, I don't think this picture will ever make a nickel, but we have to make it, end quote. Adolphe Menjou played General Brulard, and Richard Anderson was cast as Major Saint Aubin. After Kubrick spotted him in MGM films, Anderson also served as dialogue coach during the Munich shoot. Notably, Timothy Carey, who portrayed Private Farrell, was fired midway for being disruptive, including faking his own kidnapping as a publicity stunt. Filming a stand-in was used for his remaining scenes, and that's why the 3 condemned soldiers aren't seen in the battle sequences. One heartwarming detail is that Kubrick met his future wife, Christiane Harlan, credited as Suzanne Christian on set. She played the German girl singing
Yes.
the Faithful Hussar in the emotional tavern scene, and they married a year later, staying together until his death in 1999.
Yeah, it's very funny. There's a documentary from her point of view when she got cast in the role. He kept saying, Stanley kept smiling at her, so she just kept doing what it was. And when he asked her out for dinner, she turned around and she said, "Oh, good, I'm getting a meal with a paycheck." She didn't even think it was the fact that he liked her. He just thought he liked what she was doing.
He's not trying to, he's not interested. Yeah, all right. She's like, "Oh, this is the best gig I've had, yet.
In a while, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I get a free meal out of it, too. Paycheck and
right.
a free meal. And some acting credits. So, I mean, the story is basically one. We are in 1916 in the middle of World War I. And this general is ordered by, it's one general who's just an absolute scumbag, is ordered by a superior officer, another general, to essentially take this hill. It's the classic soldiers are going to take this hill. He says right up front, look, we're going to get decimated if we do this. We're talking about somewhere upwards, I think, of about 8,000 soldiers. We're going to get crushed if we do this. And then the superior officer or the general with more stars on his chest dangles a promotion in front of him.
Right.
And that seems to be all that he needs to order this attack the day after tomorrow. There's no time to prep anything. There's going to be no reinforcements. They're just going to charge into this wall of fire and artillery and mustard gas and just all these awful things for no other reason, really, but so that this man can get another star himself. So it set the tone right away. And it reminded me of very much two things. One, it reminded me of Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line, where Elias Koteas refuses that order from Nick Nolte to send his men up that hill when they're fighting the Japanese. And he relieves him.
Right.
He gets so angry with him, he relieves him, and he sends somebody else. I think he sends John Cusack in to do it, who actually does it, with some success. But, your heart is with Elias Koteas the entire time. He loves his men so much that he's just not going to send them into a wall of fire to die so that Nick Nolte can appease his superior officer, who is played, and he's only in it for 5 minutes, John Travolta.
Right.
That's another very interesting anti-war film, and I think by the time we get to Terrence Malick, that'll be one of the ones covered. Go ahead.
No, I remember when they were talking about the story, the book that it was based on was also talking about the response from the French newspapers that they weren't winning the war quickly, in actuality and everything else. So this procedure, which is based on a real story, was the fact that they said we have to do something, and it really was foolish, because it would cost so much, and it was an insignificant gather. That's what got me. It really wasn't that big of a game.
No, it was craven cowardice on the fact of the general officers. They want approval. They want validation. 20 million people died in World War I. It's just an awful thing. Hold on a second. We got another comment here. We got Mr. Dan. What's happening, Dan?
Hey, man. How you doing, boss?
Hey, Mike and John. Dan, it's been a long time. It's good to see you, man. Have you seen this film? I mean, he gets another star. He's, just this uppity little, like all these guys are just, he goes down to the trench. All these men are just dirty and filthy and covered in mud and, guts and, whatever. And he's just walking there with his little clean uniform and his dainty little walk. And he slaps that one soldier. Yeah. Because I guess this is back in the day. There's no such thing as shell shock. And this guy is so clearly tweaked out. Like he's just in another place. And what did he do? He slaps him in the face. You're a coward, and you're just like, okay.
he looks to the other soldier and says, "Get this baby out of here."
Yeah, yeah.
It's the way they referred to them. They're men if they were fighting, but if they weren't, you're a child, you're a baby. Move.
Now,
Men would do this.
there was something that I saw there that I sort of agreed with, in that fear is contagious.
Right.
So it's strategic to get him out of there, but the way that it was handled, I just think was shit. And they don't really care.
Right.
That's the point. Like, if you were to just say, yeah, fear breeds like a yeast infection, we got to get this guy the fuck out, get him off the line, send him to the back, whatever, then, yeah, I could see that. And if you've watched things like, let's say, Band of Brothers,
Yeah.
where a couple of the soldiers just from time to time had to be sent to the back for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Just to try
regroup.
to recharge. Yeah, and then they're like, wait a minute, I've left all my, you kind of come to your senses. Oh my God, I left all my friends up front there. I got to get back.
Right.
I remember that was one of the big lines in the narration. I think it was Johnny Wahlberg. He was narrating. He said, sometimes even just a few hours off the front can make all the difference in a soldier's demeanor. Here, there's just none of that.
And it was even affecting some of the officers. Oh, hello.
Yeah. No, it's Dan again. He said he loves Past. Seen it many times. Dan, we're first-time viewers here for this one.
Yeah.
Blown away. And I was just saying, as soon as I just watched it, like before we went on, and ordered a $3, I found a used DVD out there. So, these people just do not give a fuck. And the other thing it reminded me of was Last Flag Flying. And I remember Bryan Cranston telling that one Marine colonel, if I had met you in my prime, like I would have fragged you and I would have went to the brig.
That's right.
Yeah, you would have got fragged and I would have went to the brig.
Exactly.
And that Marine in that movie wasn't nearly as bad as these people. He was just kind of like, he kind of had a role to play too. He had to give the line.
Right.
As he died bravely, he died this way, and like he's kind of stuck too. But these people were just scum.
Yeah, and you would see someone like the Kirk Douglas character, Colonel Dax, who spoke of the soldiers like they were men or humans, so to speak. I love the way, like when the major made a comment about them, and he goes, "Well, you are talking about human beings, correct?"
Right.
He knew the horrors of war, but knew that they were still men.
Yeah.
Like the way you started off with the quote that he says about, ashamed to be a human.
Yeah. Ashamed to be a member of the human race. Yep.
And it was amazing because he felt that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, these men are just, it's completely dishonorable. It's evil. And I think the worst part about it is that in the middle of all this, here's what happens. They get ordered to take the hill. They go to Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas is the man on the ground. So he's a colonel. The generals are ordering him, these scum colonels are ordering him, the colonel, to take his men and charge this hill. And he says, day after tomorrow, we don't have time to prepare. There's going to be no real artillery. There's going to be no reinforcements. And he says, what kind of casualties can we expect?
Yeah.
5% from their own barrage, like they're going to get caught in their own artillery fire.
Exactly.
10% going through no man's land, 20% getting to the wire, and then another 25% just to take the hill. So 65% casualty rate.
Yeah. And it was amazing to me.
Yeah, and maybe it's entirely possible. I'm not a historian for World War I. With 20 million people dead, maybe that's just the way people fought wars back then.
It was funny because and from my history teaching, they talked about how they fought for every inch just to get to the next trench ahead.
Yeah,
and it would take days, weeks, even just to move that close, because how close they were to battling each other on this. This was a different type of warfare that they were not used to. They had air support for the first time. Mustard gas, was being used. they weren't used to that. They were seeing the future of war and trying to do it the way it was done in the old days.
Right.
And
John,
it was
take
not
over.
surprising that the generals and the colonels were all sitting back.
John, take over for about 15 seconds. I'll be right back.
You got it. So since I'm alone, it wasn't uncommon for the generals to be sitting in the back. But when you see it now with the light of our eyes in the future, even when they were shooting the scenes, it was big and wide and in glorious buildings and settings. But when they went to the trenches, it was closed and claustrophobic and really intense.
Yeah, I mean, sorry about that. There was
no problem.
No problem. It was just yipping at the cat.
Dude, it ain't the first time I talked to myself. It's all right.
So, I mean, the way it's portrayed, and you're stuck in this like 10-foot long, 10-foot high trench. Mm-hmm. You've got to climb this ladder, and like the gunfire is just waiting for you the second you stick your head up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a shooting gallery.
Right.
It's absolutely insane. Like there's no cover. It's all flat land.
Mm-hmm.
What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just charge at it as fast as you can and hope to close the distance? Do you fall down, once you advance 2 feet and then try to make another foot? Because probably if you charged right away, you're going to die.
Right.
It seems like either way, you're going to die.
From this, in my teaching for theater history, there is a segment of theater that's called the absurdist theater, about where they question what reality really is. Most of the absurdist playwrights in the beginning were people who were in Europe who served in World War I, and they were using their experiences because they said it just was insane. The insanity of that, going through all that.
Well,
it really did have an effect on them. I mean, what's the first time when we see Kirk Douglas in this movie, he's rinsing his head because he has to stay awake.
Yeah.
Because, they're relying on him type deal. It was an insane situation.
It says filming took place entirely in Bavaria, West Germany, not France, as the film's unflattering. Now, I should say, this is the French army. These are not Americans. This isn't an American story. This is a French army story. These French generals are sending their soldiers out on these suicide missions. When the missions fail, then they, because they're being denied their own promotions, decide to punish at random 3 soldiers that they select for court-martial.
Right.
But it says, hold on. Filmed entirely in Bavaria, West Germany, not France, as the film's unflattering portrayal of the French military made shooting there impossible. Interiors were at Geisel Gastag Studios, the court-martial at Schlesheim Palace near Dachau, and battles outside Perchium on a transformed farmland battlefield spanning 5,000 square yards, complete with craters, trenches, barbed wire, and explosive charges. The trenches were widened to 6 feet from the authentic 4 to allow for camera movement in those iconic long tracking shots. Around 600 to 800 off-duty German policemen, many with military backgrounds, like you were saying, served as extras portraying French soldiers. Yeah. They were assigned dying zones for the attack sequence, captured by 6 cameras, though Kubrick had to remind them to show fear rather than bravery, okay.
It's amazing. It's when you're going through those trenches right before they begin the onslaught.
Yeah.
And it's Kirk Douglas, the colonel, walking through that. It's an amazing visual, and there's no words.
Yeah.
And it just is moving. And then when you see him take the ladder and start blowing the whistle.
Yeah, that got me because I didn't understand at first that Kirk Douglas was going over.
Yep.
I thought that he was just giving the orders and he was sending the men.
Yep.
But like my respect for Kirk Douglas magnified by 1,000 when I saw that he was the first man out of the trench.
Yep.
You know, he was the first one to expose himself to fire and said, "Come on!" You know, and he's trying to lead him. And all he's got is a pistol.
And this is the old style of war. I mean, if you ever saw the movie Glory,
Sure.
when they do the final charge, and it's Ferris Bueller, whose name I can't remember right now. Matthew Broderick. He cocked his gun and got ready and led the men. You know, it was the colonels or the lieutenant colonels that were leading the charges, not the generals, not the older ones, the more experienced. They were getting the medals and such. And I mean, just to set that atmosphere was brilliant. I mean, it was brilliant filmmaking.
I can't remember the guy who played Major Dick Winters in Band of Brothers. He's one of my. I can't think of his name. Hold on. Who played him? Because I love his acting. He's great. He's Damian Lewis. Damian Lewis.
Right.
But at some point in Band of Brothers, he gets promoted past a certain point, and he's not allowed to go out into the field anymore. Like he has to fall back and give the orders from the back there.
Exactly.
And send other people forward. But yet Douglas goes right over. It says the battlefield setup took a month and shooting lasted 66 days with Kubrick's perfectionism shining through. The prisoner's last meal scene required 68 takes, each with a fresh roast duck. Carey's breakdown in his final moments were improvised, and Kubrick encouraged it, knowing it annoyed Douglas. Sounds like Stanley Kubrick to me. Menjou's scene was reshot 17 times, leading to a heated exchange where he called Kubrick inexperienced, but Kubrick calmly demanded another take.
Oh, I love the fact that someone turned around and said that after this film, they were saying Kubrick was definitely not. Ducks were not fans of Kubrick because they had to keep roasting a duck to do that scene over and over and over again.
I think one of the worst things I saw, because like Douglas understands right away, and he tells that one general, because if they don't want to go, they're not patriots, and he's like, he gives that quote that like patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel,
right?
And sure enough, when the attack starts to fail, the scumbag orders artillery on his own men.
Oh my God!
And
it was a captain that said, "I want it in writing."
Yeah.
I love that. I want it in writing. You want me to do it? I want it in writing.
Yeah, because when he said it, I thought it was going to start happening. Like they're going to start firing on their own men, and the guy's like, "I need that written and signed by you."
Yeah,
and he keeps he gets on the phone. I'm ordering you to do it. I need that written and signed by you, 3 times.
Yeah,
and he tells him the last time. He goes, "What if you get killed?" He goes, "I'm out here by myself, firing on our men." He goes, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
I mean, I've
amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen a film with a worse portrayal of general officers than this film. And it is absurdist, but I mean, it's based on
reality,
true stories, that seem to have happened. Were these French soldiers that were tried, were they really cowards, or were they I can't, because they keep saying, when they get to the court martial, I couldn't move. There was too much gunfire. I couldn't advance. But
we would have done nothing. People were getting shot when they were coming out of the trenches.
Yeah, there was nobody to fall back with. Everybody was dead. Everybody was dead or wounded.
Right.
But they did. The court martial is one of the worst, most infuriating things I've ever seen.
When the one soldier talks about getting hurt in the war or getting hurt in the assault, he has the cut on his head.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, you could have just tripped, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have happened if I tripped. Oh, well then.
I kept coming back to Last Flag Flying. If I had met you in my prime.
If I had met you in my prime. It was frustrating because you could tell in their eyes they knew they weren't going to get a fair shake.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was the portrayal of that. Like the one guy said, "Well, I witnessed my lieutenant doing a bad, committing an act of, a crime." And the other guy goes, "I just picked the wrong number." I remember
Right.
hearing that. I felt so bad for the guy. I just picked the wrong number out of the hat.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. Oh, it was devastating. Devastating. The way they portrayed that. It was and beautifully done.
I'm trying to find that quote from Sultan. It's where he talks about they're lying. We know they're lying.
Mm-hmm.
They know that we know, but they just keep on lying.
Well, it's like, I can't remember his name, but he was the highest general. And he turned around and said, soldiers are like children, and they need the hand of a father or a parental figure. And sometimes we have to kill a few for them to get in line. And they don't even look at the men who are doing the major fighting as human. They're or they refer to them as herd mentality. I heard that term used.
Yeah, they really did just not consider them to be human beings. It was, hold on a second. It's this quote from Sultan. I love this. We know they are lying. They know they are lying. They know we know they are lying. We know they know we know they are lying. But they are still lying. They're still lying.
Amazing.
Amazing. And it's just they get away with it. And then there was that. What was that guy's name? Lieutenant Roget.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just not a flattering portrayal. Not a flattering portrayal of the French officer class. I won't say the French military, the French army, because the French army, the guys are doing their absolute best in impossible situations.
Exactly.
But that one guy, they got another officer. Kirk Douglas sends him out with two other enlisted men on a night patrol. The officer is drunk. He sends a man out on a patrol. He loses his nerve. He wants to abandon him. The guy's like, "We can't leave him. You just sent him out there." Well, they're going to find us if we don't leave. Yeah, give him time. He throws a grenade and kills his own man.
Yeah,
and then makes up another story saying that he was killed by German machine gun.
Right.
And the way that Kirk Douglas doubles back on that guy at the end and makes him in charge, puts him in charge of the firing squad.
Well, I don't think I can do it. Yeah, you're going to do it.
Yeah, you're going to do it.
Makes him
because
brilliant acting.
Yeah.
Brilliant shot.
Yeah. And it's like Rod said with Vincent Cassell. If you don't like them, they're doing their job. Everybody is doing their job here.
Everybody is.
Everybody's
doing their job.
Yeah. Acting their asses off. And it's just like to be in charge of that and to be confronted with the consequences of your actions because the man that he is going to be in charge of in terms of the firing squad is the man that he selected, is the man that caught him, in his own act of cowardice, abandoning that other enlisted man on the night patrol,
exactly.
Killed his own man with a grenade, and then lying about it to Kirk Douglas later on. It is something to see.
And then he sends the guy who was the witness to stand the court martial.
Yeah. That's why. And rather than, that's the thing about it. Rather than confess.
Yeah. Or admit that he made a mistake.
Well, that's what I mean. I didn't select him because he's a coward. Because he asked me, you picked him because he's a coward, right? He knows, he knows. Yeah. It's like trying to lie to your dad, and your dad knows you're lying. Oh, you did it because of this, right? Oh, yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, okay. You're like a teenager. You think you can outsmart your parents.
Which is ironic because that's what the general said. They need a parental figure, and Kirk Douglas was being the father.
Kirk Douglas is the parental figure. It's not them, and they're so detached from what's actually happening in the war. They're dealing with the media and the politicians that they've just.
And even Kubrick did that when they were eating in the beginning, or any time it was with all the generals. It was big, wide, spacious, beautiful chairs, beautiful set. But when you were with the soldiers, it was dirt, it was muck.
Yeah.
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, Kubrick wasn't shying away from that.
That
He was
officer's
showing
dinner
the difference of the two worlds.
Oh yeah, that officer's dinner party. They've got beautiful women dressed in finery, and there's ballroom dancing, and you're just like,
The
what
finest
world
wine.
is? Yeah, what world is this?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my God. So I mean, but let's get Lieutenant Roger, rather than just admit, confess that that's not why I picked him, and fall on his own sword.
Right.
Like, it's almost like consenting to your own damnation.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, like I'm giving you a chance to tell the truth, but if you don't, like, this isn't like, because it's not like lying to your dad. This is something very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go through with this, you're kind of damned.
And I thought the way Kubrick did it, because it was after the three soldiers did their confession to the priest.
Yeah, they confessed.
And then when he was giving him a chance to confess, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't confess. No, he just went along with it, which meant he's going to lead the firing squad. And then he tells them, after each man has been shot by the firing squad, you're going to walk up and shoot each of them in the head one time.
One time. Oh, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, but you're going to.
You're doing it. You're doing it. And if he had just told the truth, like, he probably would have been shot himself, but he would have saved his soul.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened to the one soldier who was breaking down on the morning of, and that's what the sergeant said to me. He said, "Sergeant, please don't let this happen." And the sergeant said, "We're going to be joining you before this war is done."
He goes, "There's a lot of us that are going to be with you before this is over with." He goes, "There's nothing we can do."
So you have your choice of how you're going to go out.
Yeah, that was a great role by the sergeant. He tells that one man, you know, your family, your wife and your children are going to hear about this. You know, you're going to, you know, how do you want them to, you know, because maybe somebody's going to make it back to his hometown, you know, and tell his wife, you know, what actually happened, you know, and you don't want to say that you were a blubbering mess, you know. To your,
and it's just the way he accepted it. This is it.
Yeah.
You know, and again, good acting, good camera work, good pacing. Kubrick nailed this out of the park, man.
Yeah.
He really did. He really, truly did.
Yeah. So Kubrick manages to screw over that one officer, and again, you know, it's the absolute unwillingness to, like, live in any kind of truth.
Yeah.
Like any kind of truth.
Any kind of truth.
Like that one officer who orders the artillery attack on his own men, arranges this whole thing just out of spite. Just some small, little, evil, spiteful man arranges all of this and walks.
Get one more star.
Yeah, he walks out of that room, and his last words are, "You stabbed a soldier in the back." Now, there's an interesting conversation that occurs after that, where that man's superior officer who offered him the promotion in the first place tries to give Kirk Douglas that man's job, thinking that he couldn't be like a human being, you know, has to be scrambling, you know, for that next thing. You know, he couldn't actually view his men as people, you know, and as honorable, you know, men that deserved certainly not to be screwed over by their own institution out of spite. And he says, he looks at him, he goes, "These men did this, I executed it. I executed them. This man did that, I reprimanded him." He goes, "Where have I done anything wrong?" And Douglas just looks at me, and I think he goes, "If you don't know the answer to that question, like, I pity you." Like the disconnect is like, I don't even know if that other general understands what he did wrong.
And I think that's the question, you know, are they ever going to get it?
Yeah.
From the lieutenant to the one general to the primary general, are you going to get how wrong you were?
Yeah. It's like, did you see the original John Wick? Yeah.
Yeah.
When he finally catches that guy who killed his dog, He walks up to him and he points the gun, and the guy's last words are, "It was just a fucking dog," and that's what he goes to his grave not understanding
what he did.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. It was just a fucking dog. Bang.
Right. I mean, that's why I love the John Leguizamo character when he realized who it was and he slapped him. He's like, "You don't get it. You have no clue. You're a child." It's funny because you can chalk it up to youth, but some of these guys are so much older and they still don't get it.
I just think that they're evil.
Yeah.
Or
completely cold. I mean, completely cut off. They're not even human. They're just
that's what I mean. That's what I mean by they're monsters.
Yeah.
They're monsters. They'll send their own people to their deaths for a promotion.
And to me, that's what makes the last scene in the movie so powerful.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing the soldiers doing the same thing when they see the woman, but as she starts singing and the tears, it touches them. And it touches Kirk Douglas. It's beautiful.
Yeah. You get to the end and, it's all over with, and Kirk Douglas, thankfully refuses the promotion. We're getting sent back to the front. He's like, he goes and he looks in on them, and they're somewhere they've got a German woman, and she looks terrified. She looks terrified. She's surrounded by an army of men from the country that her country is at war with. She's clearly a civilian. She's crying.
And she was looking for work.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what the guy said. He goes, "Oh, she came in here looking for work, but I heard she could sing."
Okay, because that could have gotten very dark very quickly. It does it, and they're like, she can't dance, she can't tell any jokes, she can't do any magic tricks, but she can sing, and she starts to sing the great Hussar song. But what ends up happening is you find out that there was more connection between these French soldiers and this German woman. They're kind of sworn enemy in the moment than there was between the general officers and their own enlisted men. And
they could see the fear and pain in her.
Yeah.
And reflect it upon themselves.
Yeah.
Because there's a story, and I saw this doing a little bit of the research, and I actually want to go back and watch the movie for that scene. Because originally they said they would kill 100 men, for showing cowardice.
Right.
Somebody turned around and said, if you go to that scene, there's 97 men. It was like, since they killed 3, it was the other 97 men that were alive that got touched by that woman. They said Kubrick did that on purpose. They said if you have to go through it, you can count 97 faces.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that's an interesting little tidbit, if that's true. I love little movie trivia, things like that.
No. I'm sorry. I was setting something else up. I have to tell you, I mean, like, I haven't seen Dr. Strangelove yet. I haven't seen Spartacus in a long time, and I forget that that's a Kubrick movie. I always forget that that's a Kubrick movie. To me, at this point, this is the best Kubrick movie that I've ever seen. I think it is.
Yep.
That's kind of bold thinking, when 2001, which we've already discussed. I certainly thought it was better than Eyes Wide Shut, although I did like that movie. I think I gave it 4 out of 5. We'll see what happens. I like it better than The Shining. It's not an entertaining movie. It's a very serious movie. It's absurdist, but it's not comedic. It gets straight to the point. It's less than 90 minutes. It's very lean. And the performances are just 7-star across the board. The story is great. The script is great.
The shots are great. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I said it to you when we started, and I said it before we went on the air, and I will state it again. I could really kick myself for waiting this long to see this movie.
I've seen people talk about it quite often on X. They're like, oh, this movie. And I'm like, okay, I got to get to it. For for one reason or another, you end up watching something else, or you rewatch something else when you could be seeing this for the first time. It happens to the best of us. I'm glad again though that I've set things up this way, because now seeing these movies for the first time, and I'm looking for two more Coen movies I picked. I haven't seen yet either. So yeah,
there's I believe it's this movie, and there's a quote that Roger Ebert did when he did one of his books on film, like a swath of films. He had mentioned this movie, and he said this was Kubrick's first movie, and right out of the gate, he showed you how brilliant he could be.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't going to hide anything. It was just brilliant. So you can already know what my vote is.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to ask what it is, but you already know. It's
Yeah. No argument from me. You won't hear me argue.
Boom.
All right. Is there anything about this? Let's start to wrap this up. We've been going about 45 minutes. Is there anything about this film that we have not discussed that you'd like to cover?
I really think and I said it in the beginning, but I really do think if anybody sees this, watches this episode, and they are film buffs, find it. This is a movie I would say find.
Yeah.
You know,
and
I don't want to say that diamond in the rough, but this is it. Find that movie. It will give you.
I just think it's a straight diamond. I mean, it's not even in the rough. It's such great. It's something we always fall back to. It is such great storytelling. Yeah.
I mean, that scene where she, again, at the end, where she's singing, and you're seeing these men who are hooting for her.
Yeah.
You know, and you see them be affected, and they're crying, and everything. It's just magnificent.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Again, this movie is available on Tubi, I believe Pluto TV, and it is available on YouTube. It's on part of YouTube Movies for free. So you can watch it there. That's how I watch it.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the part in the stream where we rate the film. This channel has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5 up by halves. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. 0, for example, would be I'd rather drink a pint of my worst enemy's pee while they look me in the eye rather than watch this film again. All the way to 5, which is this is the destination. This is what we do this for. This is why we watch films in the first place. Unfortunately, my copy is on the way. What would you give Stanley Kubrick's Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory?
I'm giving it a 5. I'm doing it without hesitation.
Yeah.
This is not only the destination when you're a film lover. This is one of the ones when you find it, you're like, oh man, I'm lucky to have found it. It's a fantastic flick.
I myself, so I am going with 5.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can make it any better.
No. And thank God they're not going to make it any better. Somebody wasn't going to try to remake it. They put a bombastic theme score and a love song or something.
Yeah, or something. Or you know what they would do? They would probably make it an American. It would be an American army. Screwing over. And that's part of the, it's about the French.
Right.
Who have a kind of sordid history to begin with, and maybe it's coming towards sort of the end of the French decline or the beginning of the French decline in the 20th century with this, and then the Second World War they just completely occupied, and then the Cold War and this, that, and the other, and by the time the Cold War ends, the French have just lost they've lost the will to fight. Period. Although that was what they did for 1,000 years.
Right.
Exactly. They had the 100 Years' War, and Britain and France for 1,000 years just fighting it out, and then all of a sudden, after 3 successive wars of the 20th century, they've lost all desire to fight, and
that's when they turn around and say, "You know what? We're better poets."
Unfortunately, it's a sad thing for me to watch the state of what's going on in Europe, but that's a conversation. All right, John, do you need to plug anything?
Yeah, I want to plug the thing I plugged 2 weeks ago. This festival of original plays.
Is this it?
It's funny. We just did like a rehearsal today before I got here, and I'm in like 7 of the 9 that we're doing.
That's
I'm
this
like,
weekend, right?
and these are all original plays, and they're from all over the place. It's not just South Jersey, though we do feature Southern New Jersey playwrights. We got people from Oregon, we got people from Philadelphia, New York, Pittsburgh, Seattle. They were all sending these things in, and they're 10 minutes long. So they're very short, but they range from being a complete farce and very funny to some very serious, poignant moments. And it's some brilliant playwright and writing. And if you look at the bottom there, you can also figure out how on Saturday, if you can't make it to Somers Point, New Jersey,
I'm going to
you
read
can
it.
actually see us and pick it up on Zoom.
Okay.
And that's all. Thank you for posting it, Mike.
No, it says SPQR Stage Company is proud to present SPQR's annual New Works Weekend, Saturday, February 21st and Sunday, February 22nd, 2 p.m. Studio space. That's 112 Woodland Avenue, Somers Point, New Jersey. Admission is $20, cash at the door. And you've got plays A Small Actor by F.J. Hartland, Guardian Angel Blues by Dave Doster, Mr. Bunny by Hugh McKay, Appointments Jester by Rand Hughes, Balloon Release by Keith Whalen, Lucky Numbers by Sam Sardina, Ola Poppy by James O'Hara, Diagonals by James Landau, Don't Get Up by Tom Chin, and Anticipation by Heidi May. Saturday's performance will be streamed. Tickets for the stream are $20. Go to studiospace.spnj.com to purchase stream tickets. 9-10-minute plays by local, regional, and national writers. For more info, 323-793-2153 or SPQR Stage Co. as in CO at AOL.com. So check it out.
And the last one, written by Heidi May.
Okay.
She's a brilliant and award-winning playwright who's from Southern New Jersey. And it was funny because during the rehearsal, she showed up and everything else. I was watching it and everything else and giving pointers and things like that. And these people are very personal when it comes to their plays. And they really want to push it, so they put their heart and soul in it. And one of the reasons why I got into acting was to, do classic play work, but sometimes to do something original that I create the character first. And this is a chance to do it. So it's a brilliant work by everybody involved.
All right. If you're in the area or you think you want to stream it, the information's out there. Check it out.
Thank you.
All right, for this show, we will be back next week, wrapping up the month of February. I can't believe we're almost into March. I think we're less than 3 weeks away to daylight savings time, and we're just under a month. We're at a month for spring. Spring is right around the corner. The shitty winter that we've had so far, ice. Hopefully, we'll be coming to a close soon. We're in the 50s now. The ice is snow has melted away. It's a good thing. But we will be back finishing up the month of Stanley Kubrick with one of his all-time classics, Dr. Strangelove. And I have a strange suspicion that I'm not going to love Strangelove as much as I love this, and I'm already prepared to be perfectly okay with that. So that's it for us. And after that, starting in March, we'll be going with the Coen brothers. So
very cool.
We've got at least 2 movies. I think we've got Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Hail Caesar, Miller's Crossing, and True Grit.
Yep.
So there's going to be lots to talk about with those. 2 out of 4 I haven't seen already. I haven't seen before, so I'm looking forward to, like this one, first time viewing. Okay.
Cool.
My thanks to John K. Alvarez, who says, as always, an anthill isn't worth it, and I think he's right. We will see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everyone. God bless you.
Peace.